Hi friends, welcome to Milan, Italy.
Ciao.
We just arrived today and we are really excited. We're here for Design Week, or some people call it Salone. We actually made a video last year all about what Salone is, so you might want to check that out if you're not familiar. But we're here a few days early because we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We are here with ABC Stone and they're taking us down to Carrara, which might sound familiar because it's a very popular marble. And we're gonna be able to tour some stone quarries, and we're also gonna learn how to carve marble. We're really excited about it, and we're taking you along with us.
We're hopeful that we're gonna learn how to carve stone. We're also really hopeful to see some stone quarries. They might have hinted at it. We're meeting up with 15 designers, editors, press. We're really excited to see who is on this group. So come along on this video, and let's head to Carrara. We left Milan with the ABC Stone team, heading about an hour and a half out to Carrara, a place we've referenced for years but had never experienced anything like this. As you get closer, the landscape shifts, and suddenly entire mountains are carved from stone. It's hard to even process the scale. We spent 2 days with Steve, a sculptor who trained right here, learning traditional carving techniques at a 4th-generation stone yard.
So what are some of the tools that we have here?
The three most basic tools that any stone carver needs is, in order of most aggressive to least aggressive, is a point chisel, a tooth chisel, and flat. And these were basically all variations on the same theme. You know, initially the first chisel that was ever developed was the point because it could just be resharpened and it takes out the most material. And then, once upon a time, when harder alloys of metal were developed past copper and bronze, then you could go thinner with it, and then the tool wouldn't bend right away. It would hold up a little bit longer. And this is essentially, a tooth chisel is like a series of points all bound together, right? And so the fewer teeth and the more space between them, the more aggressive it is because there's less surface area and there's less friction. It's gonna remove more material. If I have more teeth and they're more closely spaced together, it's going to go slower and be less aggressive. And then finally, the version of this that hasn't been segmented is just a flat chisel. And that's the one, again, where you need like the hardest material of all, because again, this would just like fold right away if it was softer. But this is what we use again for like cleaning up after this stuff.
So we're using these hand tools, but you're going to use the pneumatic tools.
Exactly.
Which is the same end to the chisel, but it's a little bit.
The principle is exactly the same. This is substituting my swinging arm, okay? Yeah. This is not going to be able to have the same kind of movement, velocity, and strength as my arm. It doesn't take the place of like me using this by hand. This is going to always be like more effective at removing material. However, so this is going to be like shorter impact, okay? Because it's just a little piston in here. But it's going to be many per minute, right? And so I'm just substituting strength for repetition, basically, with it. Cool. But this stays the same. My grip on the chisel stays the same as I would do with the manual chisel, and now I'm just like going to be holding this kind of with a grip like this.
Let's see you do it.
Yeah. I'm also just using it. Very important is like to use like vibration.
That's what it is.
Yeah. These like really awkward and ripped up things. Yeah, these kind of bubbles here so absorb the vibration.
And yes, we made fruit. Mostly bananas, but it wasn't about the shape, it was about understanding the process. Working with stone like this changes everything. It forces you to slow down, to respect the material, and to see it as something far beyond a finished surface. We also visited local stone yards where craftspeople are still carving everything by hand, from sculptures to architectural details to full-scale statues. It's this incredible mix of history and living craft. Okay, so it's day 2, and we came back, and some elves have been here, and this is incredible, and they really must have worked really hard, because this took us hours and hours just to do one side of it. And seeing how these massive blocks are actually cut from the quarry, this balance of advanced technology and ancient material, it's wild to witness. But the moment we'll never forget was ending the day with an aperitivo on top of the quarry that produces Panazzo stone. We'll just pass the mic.
Reporting here from...
Okay, reporting here from high up in the Carrara Mountains.
Okay, so we are with Agnes from ABC Stone, and Agnes has, I think, one of the coolest jobs. She is the director of procurement. She gets to go to the quarries around the world and source the stone for ABC Stone.
Hello from high above Carrara, in the Carrara Mountains, in a Calcutta statuary quarry.
Describe the process of the quarry. So they are like chopping them into blocks.
Correct. The process is called bringing down a wall. So they cut a section of the wall. It's kind of knocked down. From there you have, it's broken into several blocks. The blocks are then brought to the processing plant that we were in earlier. And blocks could be sold to other companies as well, at which time then they are cut into slabs and sold worldwide.
I think it's amazing that you point out that there's statuary here and there's Carrara here, and it kind of transitions.
It does.
Is there any consistency to it, or can you have different types of marble in one mountain?
You can. Well, this is where the selection process of blocks come in, where you select, this block is specifically Calcutta statuary. There are crossovers, and maybe, that wouldn't be a premium selection of material, but yes, you 100% will have a mix. Here in this vastness of this, wall and floor, it's really, I guess, it's easy to understand how quickly it can transition one to the other. But when they're selecting blocks, they're selecting a specific selection.
Well, thank you so much
My pleasure.
for chatting
Thank
with
you
us
so
for a
much.
bit. And we still want to travel with you everywhere and look at
Yes.
stone, so keep us posted
You're
on the
in.
next one.
Okay.
All right, so we are back in Milan and we are about to take off, heading back to Brooklyn, but what an incredible opportunity this has been, and we just have a whole new appreciation.
Thank you to Lyndsey and everyone at ABC Stone for putting together such an amazing trip with such a great group of people. We made some literal lifelong friends in this group of people, so we can't wait to keep in touch with them, and we can't wait to keep honing our marble carving skills. We're definitely not experts yet, but we're doing what we can, but we definitely have an appreciation for the craft and all of the artistry that goes into it, and the way that this stone is taken out of the mountain and goes through the process to become our countertops. It was just such a cool thing to see. So thanks for following along on this video. I hope you liked it. Like it, send it to a friend, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ciao.